Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, how much depending on your location. Please join in the struggle to liberate our people from the contraption. Like and share videos. Today is Saturday, the 2nd day of November 2024. Happy weekend. I bring a news update. Amnesty International hits Tinubu as judge flees courtroom over malnourished minors detained for months regarding the protests against Tinubu's hardship. Oh yes, that's what's happening. A disturbing scene unfolded in Abuja courtroom when an undisclosed number of malnourished minors reportedly detained for over 3 months following End Bad Governance protest began to collapse, prompting the presiding judge to flee the courtroom on Friday, yes, the 1st day of November 2024. Oh yes. Now, one journalist, Abiodun Sanusi, who was present, shared his experience. Oh yes, describing the horrifying state of the detained children. He said, quote, "I'm currently in court, seeing how some of these young malnourished, skeletal-looking children were rushed out of the courtroom as they were too weak to stand on their own." End of quote. So he recounted the heart-wrenching moment when one of the minors started foaming at the mouth, highlighting the dire physical toll of their prolonged detention. Now, journalist Sanusi also noted that the minors eagerly consumed snacks and biscuits provided by concerned lawyers and attendees, emphasizing the desperate need for basic nutrition and human treatment. Oh yes, that's what is happening. He said the sight was quite emotional, questioning how the government, police, national security advisor, prison authorities, and even the judiciary could permit such cruel treatment of young people, children to be precise. He said at least 80% of Nigerian politicians are culpable for the hunger and the privation in Nigeria. So when will they be arrested, handcuffed, and imprisoned for economic and political sabotage? Oh yes, that's what he's saying. Said the minors who have all denied the charges face accusations from the police of public disturbance, attempts to destabilize President Tinubu's administration, and alleged destruction of public properties. Oh yes, that's what is happening. So the set has sparked outrage. Yes, that is what is happening. And the Amnesty International, yes, they are not resting on their oars. Oh yes. So they are demanding the immediate release of these children. The Tinubu government must release these children. So that's what the Amnesty International, that's what they are saying. Oh yes, they said the Nigerian authorities detained these minors unlawfully, putting them through horrifying experiences for exercising their right to peaceful protest. Look at the statement of the Amnesty International. Quote, "Amnesty International condemns President Bola Tinubu's government for the continued detention of minors for participating in the August and bad governance in Nigeria protest. The attempts to put the minors through a sham trial over alleged treason shows the government's utter disregard for the rule of law. The authorities must release them immediately and unconditionally. Putting minors through these horrifying detentions for participating in protests against hunger and corruption is so far one of the deadliest attempts to suppress freedom of assembly. President Bola Tinubu must unconditionally release minors detained since August. In Katsina, at least 12 children under 16 years old were detained. The children ended up in detention for just being on the streets during the End Bad Governance protest. Children with their whole lives ahead of them are now at risk of being tried on trumped-up charges. Right now, charges of treasonable felony are being read to another group of 43 protesters in the same Federal High Court, Abuja. The Nigerian authorities are only escalating attempts to deprive people the right to peaceful protest through horrifying detentions and sham trials. The government of President Bola Tinubu must uphold the constitutionally and internationally guaranteed human rights of everyone in the country, including the rights to freedom of expression and peaceful assembly. All protesters currently on trial or detained must be released. The Nigerian authorities detain these minors unlawfully, putting them through horrifying experiences for exercising their rights to peaceful protest. Government must release them all immediately and unconditionally. End of quote. Oh yes. Now this is what is happening. Yes. That's the regime. That's what they're known for. Since they detained Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who committed no offense, who did nothing wrong to them. Yes, even against the against the advice from the United Nations. Oh yes, that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is supposed to be released unconditionally. Yes, the United Nations said it. Said release him unconditionally. Release him. He's not supposed to be in detention. Release him. The government of Buhari refused. Worse still is this regime, Tinubu government, inherited such executive recklessness and continued therein. That's the worst case. Oh yes, because Buhari said, "Oh, Nnamdi Kanu, when I was the president, he tried doing something by advising Nigerians, giving the Igbos sense of belonging. Yes, by intimating them, the evil plan of government against Ndebo, against even other Nigerians. So Mazi Nnamdi Kanu continue to expose to Buhari's regime of all the evils that they are committing against the people. Now you talk about the Tinubu regime. He didn't commit anything against Tinubu as a person. Oh yes, when they will say government is continuum in evil. Well, it won't continue the good thing. It's evil that you continue. The United Nations said it. A court of competent jurisdiction declared that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu committed no offense. He's supposed to be released. Well, the Tinubu regime should have continued in that regard and said, yes, court have said so, I must obey the court judgment. But he continued with the abracadabra of his predecessor. So now it has gone to the town of the children. The children have been detained illegally, unlawfully. Look at them. Yes, international embarrassment. Oh yes, they have embraced themselves more and more internationally. The world, they are laughing at them now. Look at the children they are parading. Minors, they are parading them. They kept them in detention, malnourished, no food, nothing. For 3 months, the children are dying in their hands. Oh yes, imagine the children are collapsing. Even if you say you are telling them, why deny them food, medicine, care? You left them unattended so that they would die. Yes, children are looking skeletal. So that is the regime. Wickedness of the regime. No human sympathy, no empathy of government. Suppressing freedom of speech and association. Oh yes, that's a tyrant, despotic leader. Oh yes, this is a dictator. So that is what is happening. And the Northerners that were during the time of the charade, they were saying they are doing the election. The Northerners, they were busy saying they will vote for their Muslim brother, Tinubu. So what's happening? How market? Look at what it's doing to you people now. You see the wickedness orchestrating on you guys. The Northerners, Tinubu, orchestrating wickedness on the North. Oh yes. It has no regard for any other ethnic group other than the Yorubas. That's the point. Tinubu has no regard for any other ethnic group, any other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. Only the Yorubas. He's full of himself, arrogant. Self-sided, despotic, arrogant person. Yes? So his legs has expired in the medieval era. So we don't know what he's still doing in the modern world, where freedom of association, freedom of speech, and assembly, the fundamental human rights of the people, supposed is something that the international community is trying to uphold at all times. And someone is, and this mere geographical expression, this entity behaving like a medieval person. So that is wickedness, the emperor style governance. So it's quite unfortunate. That's why I used to say, when you see the fowl using the leg to scatter feces or the shit, yes, or droppings, either human droppings or animal droppings, said, particularly human droppings, said, look, you must stop that fowl because you don't know the person that will eat the leg when the fowl goes for, to the kitchen, enters to the pot and come out. Nobody knows the person that will chop the leg or eat the leg, as the case may be. So you must chase the fowl from that place when he was using the leg to scatter the feces or human droppings. So that is it. Yes. So when Mazamkan has been detained illegally and in that wicked manner, the Northerners, they were keeping quiet. They said, Buhari continued to detain him. Now it has happened on them. Yes, look at the children. It's quite unfortunate. The scene is touching, and you feel empathy. Seeing children being prosecuted on trumped-up charges, they were malnourished, not fed, nothing was given to them, no medicine. They were dying, they were collapsing. Okay, this is quite so much. This is unfortunate, and you cannot comprehend it at all. Oh yes,